Hello everyone, Regina here, and we are getting ready to make our second flag, our 3-yard flag. I want to show you that when you make your flag, you want to make sure that the seams are going to be facing the same way. So you're going to have a right hand seam, which when we made it, it was going this way. Now what we're going to do is we're going to make one for our left hand. And all we're going to do is put it on the opposite side. So you're going to do one for right, fold it, put it together, and then you're going to do one for left. You're just going to go from the other end. So we're going to go ahead and pull our flag together. And it took a while for me to get to this flag because I am going back to school. So you guys are looking at a paralegal right now. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and pull this together. Make sure that your glue gun is hot. Make sure your iron is on a synthetic setting. I've got mine on 4. This Black & Decker is a really good iron as well. You guys, if you saw any of my other videos, you'll see that I did an epic fail on my 2 yards when I made the 2 yards because someone had used my iron, watched the video, and when I went to use it, I mean, the water came out the bottom. I think that whatever happened, whoever used it without my knowledge, dropped it, not only dropped it, but whatever they ironed, there was all kinds of stuff stuck to it. So also I want to tell you with your heat bond tape, which I've shown you, if you watch any of the other videos, you'll see with the heat bond adhesive tape, there's going to be a smooth side and then there's going to be a rough side. You're going to want to put that rough side up. And you're going to go the full perimeter of full length of your chiffon. So we're going to go ahead and pull this together. So we're going to have 2 of our 3-yard flags. Now I will say this, with this 3 yards, I was going to do 4 yards as well, but I'm not going to do 4 yards because this 3 yards is really big, and I'm going to go outside and then I'm going to swing these flags. But as you can see, this is a really big flag, and I'm tempted to do the 4 yards, and depending on how many likes I get in this video, I will do the 4 yards and see how big we can get. But these are big. Swinging them together, I don't know what that's going to be like, but I reckon we're going to find out. So we're going to pull this together. We're going to come over. We're making our left-handed one. Bring the tape all the way up to your pole, your bamboo pole. And if you want to see everything that you need, look at my earlier videos and do it yourself, how to make worship flags. I'm going to line it up, and we're going to start it so that we can get our line going, our seam going. And you know, and this is pretty basic. Turn it up a little bit more. Not too much. We don't want it to get crazy. But I'm going to tell you something. You know, I try to keep my things put away, like my scissors. But my husband, he comes in and he loves my scissors, and you know, he likes my iron because his iron is not so good. And what am I going to say? Don't use my stuff. No. So I ended up buying him a pair and getting him his own iron. But before I could do that, I saw him in here using them, and he was cutting something using my scissors, and he said, "Wow, these are the best scissors that I've seen. These are sharp." And I went, "See, yeah, they are sharp." He said, "I like these," but by the time he finished using those scissors, they weren't sharp anymore. Not for what I wanted to do. So I ended up buying me a new pair of scissors, and I kind of keep them hidden. But I did get him his own pair as well. And as far as the iron is concerned, I do declare that iron, because my husband, he wears jeans, and when he gets a hole in his jeans, he uses these patches. So he'll patch his jeans. Well, there's so much adhesive on those patches that you can mess an iron up real quick. And when I saw the patches, I thought, "Oh Lord Jesus, I am not going to be able to use that iron again." But I didn't say anything. Well, what are you going to say? If it were not for my mate and us working together, what am I going to tell him? He can't use something in his own kingdom? I don't think so. But make sure that you leave an opening at the end so that you can take your stick out, because you will want to wash your flag. If you have a dance and worship team and you've got a lot of people using your flags and you're sharing your flags, and depending on how many people are in the congregation that you lead them into worship, their hands get kind of sweaty. So, you'll want to be able to wash your flag and take it off the pole. So you'll be able to take this off, take this stick off. So don't close that in. Like I showed you in the previous video, don't close that in. What we're gonna do is we're gonna come back in with our fire. If you watched the video before that, see, you're gonna just open it up and make a little eye. And I show a close-up in my other video, and then you're just gonna go around it really fast to seal it. And then that end is tapered off, and you can take your flag pole in and out. So we have that sealed, and see, as you can see, it didn't take that long either with the heat bond. So now what we're going to do is we're going to go back in and we're going to taper off our ends. So you see where this is sticking out more. You could burn that, but I would not recommend burning that because there's so much material. So you're just going to cut that off to where it's even. Then you're going to come back in. And as you can see, our seam is facing inward. This one is facing inward, and they're facing one another. And you're going to come back in with your fire, and you're going to just hold it and press it together, and now your flag pole won't come out this end. And this is also the end that we're going to be putting our peacock feather on as well. And I chose the peacock feathers because the peacock feathers are very beautiful, and it just so happens that it has some purple in it, so it matches the material, the chiffon, beautifully. But remember in the previous videos that there are several different, you have the peacock feathers, and then you have the guinea feathers. The guinea feathers, because of the guinea, The guinea you can get white, or you can get brown, or you can get speckled, depending on the guinea. These are real feathers, real peacock feathers, real guinea feathers, and make sure that they have the little eyelet on it as well. So, and you can get all of your feathers from Hobby Lobby. So we're going to be using that. Now we're going to go around our flag, and we're going to seal our ends. You're going to be very quick. And I say this again. You need supervision. If you're under age of 18, please get parental supervision when messing with fire, because safety is first. And if you watch the video when I made the other flag, we swung that flag, and then the ends were very frayed. So we had to go back and we had to cut those frays off, because you don't want too much material hanging off to where when you go in, you want a smooth cut, because you don't want your flag to catch on fire. You don't want your material to catch on fire. So if there's any excess, don't try to burn it off. Please cut it off. And these are really easy to make. They really are. If you want to start a dance team, or you just want to, if you have a color guard that is starting up in color guard and they want to practice at home. Your flags are very expensive. And the school might have the budget, but you don't. And they won't let you take the flags home. Like this one right here, if you can see that, that's kind of ragged. You don't want to try to burn that off. You're going to want to cut it and even it up. That would be entirely too much, and your fire would run rapid, and we do not want that. So just make sure that you line it up. That way we can get a nice, smooth seal. And like I said, yes, I guess you could sew your flags if you wanted to, but the chiffon is like pantyhose. They will run. You need a special machine with that setting on your sewing machine. And I went and priced sewing machines because mine gave out. When I got my brother's sewing machine some many years ago, I mean, it was less than $50, but then $50 was a whole lot. Look at the price of sewing machines now. And if you're blessed enough to have one, ooh, then I know that you are a crafter, a seamstress at heart. I don't see many people sewing anymore these days. And there are some videos out here, sewing videos and things like that. And those are so nice to watch. It's like watching someone sew. It's like therapy. Those seamstresses are amazing. They really are quite amazing. What a gift. And as you can see now, we are at the end of our toe. So we're going to come back now, and then we're going to go down and we're going to meet. Stay away from your hole. That's where your pole is going to come out. And there we go. Now we're going to look at our seam. You're because we're going to go back and we're also going to seal our seam, because when you're swinging your flags, if you have no seal on the end, if it's not tapered, it's going to fray from you swinging it. So you want to make sure that you have a nice seal on your seam, and be careful when you're doing this as well, because you don't want to burn a hole in your material. So make sure that you can see when you're burning. Just flip it upward a little bit and then just go down. And do that all the way down. I thought I was too old to go back to school, you know, because I'm 65, and I thought, you know, hey, you can't teach an old dog new tricks. Well, obviously you can. I've had, with the experience that I have so far, I had three side gigs where I was able to help someone file paperwork on summons and things like that, and I made $175 per hour, which was not bad. I was cheaper than a lawyer. So it took me about an hour and a half to prepare the paperwork and then correspond with them over the computer. And then they did come to my office and we met, and so $175, and my standard fee was $225 per file. But this person was referred to me by a friend, and she couldn't afford a lawyer. So to me, that said that she couldn't afford that fee either, and it was a blessing. So I was able to make $175, and she did come back to me with more paperwork. So now I have a everlasting client. All right, here we go. And there's our second flag. And as you can see, it is very, very big. And I'm going to put the flag feather on. And remember what I said about your cuts. Keep your cuts, because you're going to want to use your cuts. And you go back in, for those that haven't seen any of the videos, you're going to want to keep the cut, because you're going to want to hang it. You're going to use it as a bow to hang your feather on the tip of your flag. And what we're going to do is, and these are the frays that I was talking about. There's a lot of frays right there, so don't try to burn that off, because that's a lot, and your material will catch on fire. Fire has no mercy once it gets going, and it runs rapid. I had someone ask me, Regina, if you died right now and someone gave you the choice to die by water or fire, which one would you choose? I just looked at him. I'm not answering that. Are you kidding me? I'm not going to reveal my phobias to anybody. Satan messes with me enough. I'm not getting ready to place that fear out there. No. I didn't answer that question. Isn't that crazy? I'd rather die of natural causes, of course. If I had my choice, that wouldn't be one of them. And then we have this right here. Now what we're going to do is we're going to go in, because we want to match up. We don't want it to be longer than the other one. So we're just simply going to go back in, and we're going to use this as a template. I'm going to come around, I'm going to come up, And there we got our measurements so that our flag bow for our feather will be close to one another. Then we're going to take our bow and put it through. Very simple. Then we're going to take our glue gun and we're just going to put a little bit, just a dab of it, not even a dab, just to seal that in. Be careful, please, because the glue is very hot. So we're just going to put it together like that. And then now we have our flag tip. Now we're going to come back and also we're going to use some of the glue caps that we made, and there's another video showing how to make these end caps as well. So I hope that you did that video. Then what we're going to do is we're going to come back in with our tip. It's a lot of material, guys. And then we're going to put just a little dab on the end, like that. And then we're going to put our feather. Now make sure that your feather is facing outward, because once you put this on, that's going to be it. And then just stick it on there, like that. And then come back with your glue. Put a little dab. And then we're going to put that end cap right over that dab of glue and press it down. And then we have our tip. And then you have any excess, you can just simply cut it off. Come back and round it with your fire. Be very fast in doing this because you don't want to melt your tip. And then there you go. Hopefully you can see that. There you go. And we have both of our flags. We're ready to swing our flags. 3 yards. Very quick, very easy. I'm going to let this dry. I'm not going to swing them, but I am going to come back with a video to show you what they're going to look like. I'm going to swing both of them to see if I can swing both of them. These will be the biggest flags that I've ever swung. And if we need to, maybe just make it a single flag. Let's see if we can use them both. I'm pretty sure I'll be able to, but we're going to find out. So our next video is coming on swinging these beautiful 3-yard flags, guys. Like my page, subscribe, dig my other videos on how to make these flags, on what you'll need to purchase these flags, the poles, the feathers, the end caps, the glue sticks, everything that you need to create and make your flags are in my other videos. So I hope that you subscribe, and I hope that you dig my other videos as well, and get to making some flags. Until next time. Bye.